welcome everybody. Also, shout outs to the Konami viewers in chat. Welcome. Thank you for the support. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Dude, I'm so excited, man. It's such a custom ban list, dude. It's Christmas already. I'm not gonna act like I haven't seen it yet. I would have loved to go live and blind react to this because it would have been glorious, but you know, it is what it is. I was not home. I could not go live. Otherwise, I would have, trust me. I also want to deny all the allegations that I had anything to do with this ban list. I think it's a simple matter of fact that the Konami employees are people of culture. Simple as that. They enjoy good YouTube content. What can I say? It's fine. You know, nothing wrong with that. You guys are all here. You guys are enjoying the content. So why would they not? I mean, of course. And they have some common sense, dude. Finally. Anyways, this is what you're all here for. This is what happened yesterday on my Twitter timeline. When I saw this at first thing, I thought it was fake, dude. I genuinely thought it was fake. I thought it was made up. Christmas ban list, literally perfect timing because I just uploaded my ban list prediction a day before this. So that was close. We dodged a bullet there. Someone said that it's exactly 25 changes because of 25th anniversary, which is freaking funny if that's true. They had like 24 changes lined up and they were like, what if we ban circular for the memes? By the way, I just want to preface, I don't think that this many changes were 100% necessary because the format I don't think was like imbalanced or something like that. You know, like the format was fine. In my recent ban list prediction video, I said like they don't have to do that many things, but if they wanted to hit every deck a little bit, they could, you know, and I think it's more exciting that way. But let's begin with the forbidden section where right off the bat, we have 4 wonderful decisions. We have yugioh and Kelbeck banned. Finally, I may say. Pretty much the only deck that this hits at the moment is Tier Limit. Some people are molding about this because it also hits Lightsworn before it even comes out, the new support. But honestly, dude, yugioh and Kelbeck had no business being legal. The Shufflers without the Millers are completely fine. They could even consider bringing Mudora and Keldo back at some point, I think. The randomness that Mill 5 introduced, I don't know. It's been around for a year, dude. More than a year. So, good riddance. Mathmech Circular. Bro, Mathmech Circular is the funniest ban list change that they have ever done in the history of ban lists. It's so fucking funny. I'm gonna be honest with you, they didn't need to do that, man. They didn't need to do it. And I'm pretty sure they knew, man. They knew. It was just like, hey, you know, Josh just won a YCS. Let's do him a favor. Let's give him a little Christmas gift. You know, we'll ban Circular. Who cares anyways, dude? No one plays Mathmech anyways. No one cares about Mathmech. Let's just ban it for the memes. And they did, and it's hilarious, man. That was not necessary, but I still appreciate that, you know? I appreciate it. This is the change that I saw and I was like, there's no way that's real. There's no way that's real. Okay, and then we have Isold, Two Tales of the Noble Knights, which is a good riddance as well. I mean, we've been talking about this since freaking 2018 or whenever this shit came out. I think it is a little bit sad for the Infernoble fans out there, which I know exist. Some people argued that Phoenix Blade should have been hit instead. I don't think so. I think Isold is the far better card. It just does too many things. I don't think a Link 2 should do all that. I think it's a deserved ban. Oh my god, this page is so beautiful. Oh god. Okay, Unchained Soul of Sharvara limited, something I had on my ban list discussion. I think it's a fairly hard hit to Unchained, to be clear. I think out of the top tier decks, they hit Unchained and Tier Lament the hardest with this ban list. I think Sharvara to 1 does not necessarily kill the deck. Whether it remains like a top tier though is something I doubt a little bit. Consistency wise, I think Unchained will be fine, but it has some implications. Like if you start with Sharvara, it makes it a lot harder and a lot more difficult to end on Caesar. There was a lot of lines that played around Nibiru where you would end on a Caesar on the board and you would have a Sharvara in your hand set up, right? That is no longer possible because you simply cannot have a Sharvara as material under Caesar and in hand. You simply cannot do that anymore. Pretty hard hit. I think it's justified. I just think that compared to some of the other hits they did, like the hits they did to Rescue Ace Pearly and so on and so forth, this one is a little harder than the other ones, I think. So Unchained is definitely one of the, in my opinion, losers of this ban list. Airlifter to 1 is also rough for Rescue Ace. However, I think that is not nearly as big of a deal as Sharvara because yes, hitting Airlifter to 1 makes the deck less consistent. However, you can replace the Airlifter relatively easily with other 1-card combo starters. Like for example, 1-for-1 is a 1-card combo that they choose not to play at the moment. You can simply run more copies of Diabellstar. In that sense, I don't think it's that big of a deal. It just makes it slightly less optimal, right? It has some implications for like like the turn 2 of the deck, because usually what you would do on turn 2 is like summon another airlifter to search the headquarters to recycle all your stuff. That's no longer possible. It just makes it so you have less lines available on the second turn as well. I think Rescue Ace remains playable with this, but it does receive a decent hit and a decent slap on the wrist, which I think is a good thing. Redox back to 1, literally irrelevant. Card should come back to 3 probably at some point. They're probably going to do that eventually. I like that they are decluttering the ban list, and unfortunately, Orcus Harp Horror is also, I believe, nothing else than decluttering the ban list. If this makes Orcus playable, I'll be happy about it. Currently, I don't really think so. I think it's probably gonna be like a tier 3 kind of strategy. The next 3 are something that I was so happy about. I couldn't even believe they finally did that, dude. I was not a believer anymore that they would eventually hit the frickin' floodgates. And yes, they didn't hit all of them. There are still some out there, but this is not the moment to criticize that, okay? This is the time to appreciate that frickin' Gozen Match, Rivalry, and There Can Be Only One are finally on the freaking ban list, okay? We shut up, we take it, we are happy about it, and maybe if they see how the community reacts to this, because it's been like 99.99999% really positive feedback on the floodgates being banned outside of some absolute two heads, the other ones will follow suit eventually if they see how happy we were with those changes, you know? It's a huge step in the right direction. I could not be happier with the floodgates. Honestly, probably out of all the things on this ban list, even with the circular ban, I think the floodgate hits are my favorite hits on this ban list. They are so good. I'm so happy about it. The next 2 are also funny to me because it's Sun Avalon Dryas and Sunvine Healer. I think it's good, and I think people that are complaining about these are in the wrong. I think these cards deserve to be on the ban list because the Rika deck has been extremely successful. It's won Euros, it's won YCS Dortmund, it's won Euros like last year. The deck's been incredibly successful. The deck's just the stupid go first resolve combo win the game. It's not even great design. Definitely deserve the hit, and I would say they got off relatively easy. I'm not a plant expert, you know that, but I don't even know if this makes it unplayable. I hope it does. Like, even if you think the deck isn't the problem right now, the deck's gonna get even stronger with the new Aramage support, so I think this is very nice. We'll have to wait and see. I personally think this is definitely good enough of a hit to the plant deck. I'm happy with it. I have no mercy. I hope it makes it unplayable. I hope it makes it unplayable. This really is a custom list made for me. I appreciate that. Ib the World Chalice Justicar is the only hit on the ban list that has me scratch my head a little bit. It's a scary card to come off of the ban list. The thing is, I said the same thing about Denglong, and Denglong hasn't really done anything. So I think it's an experiment that I'm willing to take. Maybe it's gonna see play, maybe it's gonna spawn like a crazy kind of combo deck or whatever, but I think it's fine. I hope it's fine, but it is definitely a little scary. On the other hand, Snatch Steal coming back to Limited is something I am completely fine with. You can interact with Snatch Steal far better than you can with Change of Heart, simply because any sort of removal, any sort of destruction effect is going to stop Snatch Steal from working. So I think it is a worse Change of Heart, and Change of Heart at 1 has not really spawned any problems. So I think the same is going to be true for Snatch Steal. I think some people are going to want to side deck these kind of cards for going second into certain matchups. I don't think that's a problem. I think Snatch Steal is right at the power level where you would want it to be for it to come off the ban list, right? It's not bad enough so that it's completely irrelevant, but it's also not good enough for it to be a problem right off the bat. Semi-limits, we've got some nice stuff. We got Pearly Sleepy Memory, which is a decent hit to Pearly. I like it. I will say, I don't think that's that big of a deal though. The fact that you can still reveal 2 Sleepies and 1 Delicious with My Friend is, I think, completely fine, because both of those cards open up good lines going first. I suggested Pancratops to 3, Pancratops to 2, I'll take it. People are going to side deck it. I'm super happy about it. I hope it goes to 3 eventually. I really enjoy playing Pancratops. That card's phenomenal. We have Speedroid Terratop to 2, which is also a little bit scary at the same time. These kind of 1-card starters that require you to run 1 brick somewhere in your deck is kind of like a normalized thing in Yu-Gi-Oh right now. Like, there's a lot of cards like that. I think it's okay. I can't really argue that the card hasn't really done anything and probably could be at 2. Infernity Archfiend, scary card. However, with like Bystials in the game now and Infernity not really being super up-to-date kind of combo deck, can't really argue that that card is probably fine. Kashtira Unicorn to 3, I can't help but think is also a fine change. I kind of like this approach. And hear me out. I'm not a fan of Kashtira, but I think one thing that they are doing here that I think is good is that they are unhitting cards relatively quickly when they realize, hey, we've completely murdered this deck anyways. I don't want to have situations like where people ask for Harp Horror to come back for freaking 4 years. They could have brought back Harp Horrors like 3 years ago and it wouldn't have mattered. So them just realizing, hey, we've hit Kashtira Arisard. The deck has pretty much vanished completely. Some people were playing around with it, but you cannot look at Kashtira right now and be like, yeah, that deck's a problem. It's not. It's not a problem at all. The third unicorn is not going to make it a problem. All it does is make it slightly more consistent. And I like that. I think that's a good thing to do. Even if you don't like Kashtira, I don't think that is something you can argue with. And that's a good thing to realize. Mind Control to 3 is very exciting. I will say, with triple Mind Control, Snatch, Steal, and Change of Heart, even Talents kind of belongs to it. You have a lot of cards for going second that just take your opponent's cards, you know? Like, you can definitely play decks now that aim to go second and take your opponent's cards. You can definitely also just make your side deck in a way where in certain matchups, if it's a good thing, you can just go second and try to take all their stuff. I think that's cool though. I've never had an issue with Mind Control in the current format. I've never had an issue with Change of Heart. I think Snatch Steal is going to be cool as well. I think that's fine. Out of the current meta decks, the deck that's the weakest to Mind Control is Unchained as well. So if people start playing Mind Control, Snatch Steal, Change of Heart, and you only have one Charvara and Unchained, that's going to be bad for you. So I think Unchained takes a huge hit on this ban list altogether. Spellgo of Judgment to 3. No issues with that. Card has not seen any play at 1. I don't expect it to do much, but even if it does, it's probably going to be okay. Upstart Goblin to 3 is also another change that could have happened ages ago. I'm happy about it. I think that could see play at some point. Currently, it's just a matter of you're not going to play Upstart Goblin in any deck that plays Pot of Prosperity. And speaking of cards that are not on this list, Pot of Prosperity remains at 3. A lot of decks are going to prefer Prosperity. I think triple Upstart is good. I think it's relevant. However, I don't think it's something that's going to be a problem at all. 37 card decks are back, but that's fine. Pot of Desires to 3. Powerful card. Relevant change. Some decks are gonna appreciate that for sure. The fact that you can play triple Upstart, triple Desires, it kind of lifts certain decks to new heights of consistency that weren't there before. All the current top decks are not using Desires. So fair, I suppose, to put it from 2 to 3. And then last but not least, we have Sprite Starter, which me as a Sprite fan, I appreciate that. At the same time, the funny thing about Starter was always that the best Sprite decks in the last year have all been using one starter pretty much. The only deck that really benefits from triple starter is pure Sprite. I think triple starter is definitely relevant. It gives a significant boost to Sprite. I think it's just so telling to the power of Sprite Elf that once they banned Sprite Elf, Sprite has just never been the same. Sprite decks were good in certain parts of the last year, but it's never been because of starter. I mean, right now, Sprite is non-existent, so it could use the help. And that is all the changes, man. Let's talk about what's not on here. I feel wrong even calling it complaining about stuff that's missing because this ban list is so good. I don't even want to complain. I don't feel like complaining. Let's not call it complaining, but let's call it constructive criticism, okay? No hits to lab. The deck even gets stronger with transaction rollback in January. So not hitting lab at all. An interesting decision. Let's say it like that. Furniture Lab is a deck that has a decent amount of counterplay. You know, Ash is really good against the deck. Bell is really strong against the deck as well. There are certain decks that have really good matchups against it. Runic, for example, wink, wink. Whether you like that or not is up to you. But them not hitting any lab cards on this list means that we're probably going to face lab as like a tier 1 threat for a while. The other thing, you can't really fault them for it, but they didn't hit Mannadium at all. Not even Fenrir, which is another thing that's kind of missing on this ban list, which also means that Mannadium remains completely full power and is probably going to be the combo deck of choice. And then no Runic hits at all, which, I mean, honestly, based. The only Runic deck that's hit by this ban list is Runic Stun, and that's how it should be. I'm not even going to hide it. I'm biased. Wonderful. Wonderful. On a real note, though, Runic is always a product of its environment. Right? It depends, you know, if Labyrinth is going to be top meta, then Runic is going to be nice. If Mannadium takes a huge chunk of the format, then Runic is going to not be so nice. What else? Branded didn't get any hits, but I'm going to be honest, Branded didn't need any hits. I would have liked to see Gimmick Puppet, but that's the only thing, you know. I'll just Ash your Branded Fusion and I'll be fine. Honestly, overall, couldn't be happier Best Christmas gift ever? The circular ban is just phenomenal comedy. I'm pretty sure they didn't think that was necessary, but they were just like, you know, it would be funny. Stop saying I made the ban list. I didn't make it. It's just that there are some people at the Konami headquarters that apparently are subscribed to the YouTube channel. You know, I appreciate them for supporting. They have acquired a very nice taste in game design, you know? Who can fault them for just enjoying some good YouTube content and having a good opinion on game design? Hey, it's not their fault. I'm gonna call this a 9.5 out of 10 ban list, because simply calling a ban list 10 out of 10 when something like Shifter isn't on it is simply not possible, but insane ban list.